That makes sense though. I wanted to tell you guys a story real quick before I end stream. Because recently, a lot of people have been asking me in my life, friends, family, why I don't date anymore. But I think I have a very good reason. I was moving into an apartment just after finishing dorming at college. A couple weeks after I move in, I'm coming home and I see this girl. Now, I don't think that there is such thing as a 10 out of 10, but this girl was as close as possible. I'm not lying to you. She was as close as possible. She was a 9 out of 10 for sure. Like, would probably be the most attractive person she was in any room she walked in. And at this time in my life, you know, beard was very unkept. Hair was even longer than it was now, just like terrible length. I was dressed like shit. If I'm being honest, I think I was like a 6 out of 10, right? And then there's this beautiful 9 out of 10 girl. And I think to myself, what the fuck? You know? Just go up and say something to her. That she's like bringing boxes into her, like into an apartment, right? So I'm like, okay. Let me walk up, be like, oh, are you new? Are you moving in? Can I help you out? So I walk up, I introduce myself. I'm like, hey, how you doing? This is my name. Can I help you bring your stuff inside? And this girl looks at me. I shit you not. Eyes down, back up, no. And just walked away. She knows why I'm walking up to her. She knows that she's not interested. So off she fucks, right? Like, whatever. Who cares? I go by maybe like a week, 2 weeks. I see this cat sitting outside my like sliding glass door, right? And my cat's getting pissed off. Kiwi is not happy with any other cats around. She gets very upset. I know whose cat this is. Pat her a little on the head, scoop it up, and go up to her door. She opens the door, and I'm like, hey, this cat was in my backyard porch area, right? It's an apartment. Is it yours? And she's like, oh, thank you so much. I didn't even notice that he got out of the door earlier. I don't even know how he got out. I really appreciate it so much. And she's just going on for like minutes at a time. I'm also very aware that this is the girl who rejected me right to my face. And she's just like, thank you so much. Oh my God. And then she says like, I was so mean to you the other day. Can I make it up to you? And me, being the scumbag I am, was like, yeah, why don't we grab coffee? She says to me, I think coffee's boring for a first date. Why don't we go have a picnic? She threw the word date around. Keep in mind, this girl is gorgeous. Like 9 out of 10, gorgeous. And I probably still look like shit. Like just 6 out of 10, like just garbage, right? And she brought like a buffet, right? Crackers, grapes, wine, glasses. She had like a starter pack for picnics. It was the most insane shit I'd ever seen in my life. We get to chatting. And me, 6 out of 10, but pretty good at conversation. Pretty funny when I want to be. So, I'm making her laugh. We're talking. And it turns out me and this girl have 0 things in common. Like, she ran cross country in school and for college and really loves running and Starbucks and cats. I think the only thing we had in common is that we both had cats. I'm being straight up. And you know me, I love Arsenal, the Warriors, right? I got like all these other interests. But there was never a point that we weren't talking and having like fun talking to each other. So, I texted her pretty much exactly what I was thinking. I was like, deadass, I don't think we have anything in common, but I think we got a lot of chemistry and I'd love to take you out again. And she's like, great, I'm busy this weekend, but what are you doing next week? Like Tuesday, Wednesday, some shit like that. And I was like, yo, bro, I just got a second date with this fucking like girl, 9 out of 10, beautiful girl. I'm 6 out of 10 fucking garbage, right? It's like the start of February. right before college opens up again. And more people are moving into the apartment complex. And I see this other girl. And she's wearing a Warriors jersey. She's not just wearing any Warriors jersey either. She's wearing a Sean Livingston jersey from a golden and suffering age of the Warriors on her. So I'm like, I gotta go talk to her. Low key, I'm kind of feeling like, yo, I pulled the 9 out of 10 girl. This girl isn't as hot, all right? I don't want to be mean. She's like a 7 out of 10. Introduce myself. I'm like, are you just moving in? She's like, yeah. I'm like, are you from the Bay? Because she's wearing a Warriors jersey. And she's like, yeah, I am from the Bay. So we start talking. We both knew which schools we went to. We had friends in common from like each other's high schools. And she's got like the cute girl next door vibe. Once or twice or 3 times a week, you know, we watch a Warriors game together, either at my place, her place, or we go to the Eddie, right? It's like this like sports bar. And after like 2-3 weeks of this, 9 out of 10 girl, she comes to me and she's like, I'm gonna be honest, I know we had that talk and we said we were casual, but I'm a little bothered with how much time you're spending with 7 out of 10 girl. When I tell you I was at the peak of the fucking world in this moment, I was peaked out of my mind. Are you kidding me? This girl, this 9 out of 10 gorgeous girl is jealous over me. So, but you know, I'm in the moment. I'm talking to her. This is my friend, right? And nobody tells me who I can and can't hang out with. That looking back, I don't, like, it's hard not to like blame myself for like what happened next, but like I told 9 out of 10 girl, like, hey, if you like me, you'll love her, right? She's like me if I was a girl. She was great. Very mature. And she's like, okay, you know what? I will actually take the time to try to become this girl's friend. So I don't know exactly like what the plan was, but she was like gonna go over there, introduce herself, and just like, you know, make that first point of contact, right? And I've told 7 out of 10 girl about her before. I've talked about 9 out of 10 girl a lot. But like, that was the night before. The next day around noon, 9 out of 10 girl blows my phone up 3 times. So I pick up the phone. I was like, okay, what's up? What's wrong? What's going on? And she's like, you need to come to my place right now. What's going on? And she's like, I went to see that bitch friend of yours. 7 out of 10 girl? And she's like, yeah. Do you know what she said to me? She said, I can never see you again. I'm like, what? And she's like, she said, if I ever talk to you again, she is going to fucking kill me. And I'm shocked to me. Like, I hear the words you are speaking to me, but everything I know about 7 out of 10 girl is just like, no, she wouldn't do that. She's such a sweet and kind person. So as soon as I get out the door, I send a text to 7 out of 10 girl. And I'm like, hey, we need to talk right now. I think that's exactly what I said. I'm like, hey, we need to talk right now. And I walk to her place. Same apartment complex, right? Knock on the door. No answer. So I'm like, okay, I'll talk to her tomorrow. And I text 9 out of 10 girl that exact situation. Like, I went to talk to her. She didn't respond to me. Honestly, I throw this into him like, if she's not mature enough to discuss this to me, then you're right. I don't want to hang out with her anyway, right? But I will talk to her tomorrow. 9 out of 10 girl doesn't respond. 9 out of 10 girls not responding to me. 7 out of 10 girls not responding to me. Next morning, I wake up and nothing from either of them. I go over to 7 out of 10 girl's house. I knock on her door. Still no response. I get to 9 out of 10 girls' house. Knock on the door. No response. I get a knock on my front door. It's her friend. 9 out of 10 girls' friend. And she's like, hey, have you seen 9 out of 10 girl in the last couple of days? And I said, no. She hasn't responded to my texts. She hasn't answered her door. Nothing. And then she says, I think we should call the police. And I'm thinking to myself, that's a bit extreme. She's like from 4 hours drive away from here. She drives home often, right? Very close to her family. I'm sure she just went back home there. Her friend calls her mom. Her mom has not heard from her either. 9 out of 10 girls' friend is getting interviewed. They, the landlord opened the door for the apartment. The cops are in there. And the cop's asking me for the story. And I told him the story pretty much exactly the same way as you. I don't know. They stopped talking to me. But the missing persons report is filed for 9 out of 10 girl. And just after 2-3 weeks of them being missing, they found 7 out of 10 girl. And she's covered in blood. And it's all over the news. Local Reno news is lighting up that a student murdered another student. And 7 out of 10 girl is screaming at the camera, she's dead, you're next. She's dead, you're next. But they came back with the autopsy on 9 out of 10 girl. Because it was very bizarre the way they found the body. Because there were just parts of it, chunks of it missing. It turns out that the 7 out of 10 girl was biting into, chewing, and swallowing parts of the 9 out of 10 girl. Eating her. Leave my room. I couldn't talk to people. All my perceptions of people and everything was just shattered. And it's every single day I was just reliving the last 3 or 4 months since I'd met 9 out of 10 girl, right? Everything. How did I not see that 7 out of 10 girl was a psychopath? Everything, all this shit, right? And it's getting so bad that I can't get the sound of her screaming, she's dead, you're next. She's dead, you're next, out of my head. It never really made sense to me, though. Because it's just senseless violence over something so stupid. But it begs the question, why was the 6 afraid of the 7? Because the 7 ate the 9.